Hello everyone, in this video we are going to do a data processing and cleaning exercise. You have to download this compressed file that's called Limpieza Procesamiento de Datos. It's included in the material for the course. So the idea is to download it and to put it in a folder for all the exercises that we are performing in the course. After downloading it, we can decompress it and have access to the folder. The folder is composed by an R project where there's a database called Dataset Maze Cordova. It's a version that's still not processed, it's not clean. So the idea is for us to do that procedure from this moment on. There's also a script that I prepared. I have not written any code lines yet. The idea is for us to include them as we go through the database to see which are the problems that we could possibly run into. This is also the R project extension file that we're going to open when we start to process the data. We also have the data dictionary. We can go through the database really fast. The first thing that you are going to see are the variables and the rows. It's always important to take into account that it could have an error when opening the database, because I left these separations with commas. So some of you could run into an error with the format, specifically if you have separations with commas. If you have this problem, you can go to options, then choose advanced, and right here you can configure the separator you'd prefer to use. In this case, I think that the decimal separator is point and thousand separator is in commas, or period and comma. And with this, I won't have any problems by opening my extension files, CSV, that have comma separations. Nevertheless, it's necessary to change something here. If you don't want to revise it from this point, you don't have to do that Excel modification. We're just going to continue with the R process. Our recommendation is not to save this file or don't overwrite it, because this could generate a problem afterwards. The objective of this database is try and to identify what are the factors that affect the variations in the yield. Yield is in the last column, based on management variables like fertilization, plant density, climate variables, temperature, solar radiation, and there are also variables for the soil like pH and the drainage. Each one of the rows represent a productive cycle from its sowing to the harvest. You can see the information here. They're separated by a line, a dash. There are also variables of the producer that I put as an X, but they're included in the original database. The idea is for us to be able to process this database from R. I'm going to explain one of the routines that I applied for their project. They work very good when there are so many variables. I was able to process a similar routine to this one with 60 different variables. But if you have more variables, this can probably become a little tedious. However, the idea is for you to be able to practice it, and you can develop your own routine after some practice. If we do a fast overview, we can see that there are some mistakes. I see some commas instead of periods. This probably will generate an error. There are lost values. It's something that we can analyze afterwards also, depending on the amount of values that are lost. And apparently, all the variables have the same scale. We can also revise that from the data dictionary. The data dictionary gives us the short name, the meaning, the type of variable, and also the unit used. In order to have a complete dictionary, it would be interesting to have the range. We saw this in one of the previous presentations, but apparently we can see that the scales appear to be uniform in each one of the variables. Therefore, we wouldn't have any issues regarding scale. So after doing this fast overview, we can open our R and start to assess a strategy to do the cleansing of the database. We can begin with an initial exploration and then identify either a workflow that's going to use a current database that still has errors with a clean version so that we can analyze it and keep on processing. So the idea is to open the R project and begin with the data processing. So it's loading, and then open the script. It's called limpieza procesamiento de datos, or cleaning data processing. We're going to maximize it. Okay, ready. Right here, you'll see a script that I've already previously organized with some of the steps that we have to execute that we're going to perform afterwards until our database is ready and complete. You can begin by writing your name. That's one of the suggestions that we always give during these courses so that we know who developed and updated the script. You can add a date. And with this, we'll finish this first section of the cleansing and data processing. In the next video, we'll continue developing this script for processing that database for maize.